Welcome to Write with Love. I'm Sarah Williams, bestselling author, speaker, and creative entrepreneur. Each week I chat to passionate and inspiring authors about their journey in creative writing. Some are traditionally published, some do it themselves. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone has something interesting to say. We all love love and love what we do. Today's show is brought to you by our amazing fans and supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show and get some awesome bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/SarahWilliamsAuthor to learn more. Now here's today's show. G'day, I'm Sarah Williams, romance author and independent publisher at Serenade Publishing. Today I'm chatting to Wendy Vella. Thanks for joining me today, Wendy.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, Sarah.
It's a pleasure. So tell us how you started out and your writing journey so far.
Yeah, I've always been, I love romance. I'm an absolutely incurable romantic. And my mother, many years ago, sort of started me on Georgette Heyer and wrenched the Jules Pony Club book out of my hand and said, you need to try something a little bit, broaden your mind a little bit. So I went on to Georgette Heyer and I never looked back really. And the Regency era has been a particular favourite of mine for many years. So I wrote for quite a long time, joined Romance Writers of New Zealand, entered competitions, and just basically spent some time honing my craft. And then I entered competitions, and as I started, I won a few and got readers' choices. I thought, maybe I'm ready to publish. So at one of the conferences, I pitched and was picked up by Random House for their Love Sweep line. And so I published my first book traditionally, and that was in January 2013. And then I really had a few problems with them trying to get them to pick up another book. What I wanted to write and what they actually wanted to publish were two different things. And I had a wonderful group of writing friends who I went on with some of them to do the Spa Girls, which is our podcast we do. And we talked, and they said, why don't you have a go at self-publishing? And that was fairly terrifying. So I went and I got a cover and edited it the best my ability and got someone else to edit it and thought, okay, I'm going to have a go. So in November 2013, Duchess by Chance was published, and that went fairly well, actually, considering the errors that were still in it. And Christmas that year, I put out a novella called Christmas Wishes. And then I was pretty away after that. I really decided that because I write quite quickly that I thought, this suits me. Being able to adjust and change things and move with the times and covers and things like that. And so I thought, well, okay, I really enjoy this. But so I carried on writing historicals for a while. And then I thought, self-publishing allowed me to write across genres, and I get bored very easily. So the next step for me was, I'm going to write some contemporary. I went into contemporary, wrote, and then published my first contemporary Feb 2015. Same year I actually left my job, my day job, and worked from home. So that was fairly buzzy. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yep.
And so, I've never really looked back. I think got 16 straight historicals. Well, not straight as in the traditional sense, but I have 4 historical paranormals and I have 8 contemporaries out now. So, and my first audio came out this year too, which was great.
Wow, so busy lady.
That's a bit of my journey.
So you must write fairly quickly then to have so
busy.
much. Yeah, so much in such a short amount of time. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I do write very quickly. My first draft is always really quick. I'm not a plotter in any way. I've tried many times to plot because it frustrates me that I quite often will write in circles and go back and change. But I think my process now has taken me a while to get to the point I'm at, but I know my processes now. Yeah. I know that when I get to the end of the first draft, it's very, very rough. a rough, quick first draft. But what I do when I write is I need to be able to get the words on the page. So if I find something blocking me, I just write in capital letters in that bit needed here and carry on, because otherwise I'll spend hours researching, So for me, that works really well for me, just getting that first draft down. The second draft is a lot slower and a lot more detailed.
Yeah.
So
are you a plotter
my
or
writing process has got. Yeah. So I don't do any plotting at all. No structuring, nothing. I just sit down and go.
So your first draft is pretty much you telling yourself the story, really.
Yeah, it is. I've tried everything. I've tried the snowflake method. I've tried friends sitting down with me and helping me plot. But I find it's a really weird thing. I find it really blocks me. Yeah. I find if I know the story, I really struggle. And so I've just given up. And like the latest book I've just finished, the first draft on, I rewrote the first part 3 times as I went through the book. But that was just the process that needed to be done.
Yeah, right.
So that, everyone's different. But
yeah.
That works for me.
That's brilliant. Wow. And so your Regency romance, obviously you're in New Zealand. So do you do a lot of research? I guess you know a lot now about that era, and you've travelled over there a fair bit.
Yes, I have. My family are from England, and I do love it over there. Really, really love it. So I've been back. I went on my OE over there with my husband. Plus, my son played rugby over there, so we went over there. And then my first grandchild was born over there. So I've had a few trips over there. I will go again, because I love the history. We don't have that here in New Zealand. Just that history is just so vital and so rich. And I think the Regency era, I love that no one alive today was around then, so you have so much license, even though you've got to stick to those because the people will let you know if you get them wrong. Believe me, I've had a few of those emails. But I just love that you can really play with that era, whereas contemporary, people living today know what it's all about, but then you can really have some fun. I really love it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's brilliant. And you're a Jane Austen fan. Which one's your favourite?
Yeah, my favourite is probably 2017 version of Persuasion. I think it was 2017 or maybe it was 2015. I can't remember, with Rupert Penry Jones on the TV. But Persuasion is my favourite, and I know it's her last book, but I love that story. I think it's great.
It is. It's gorgeous. I love it too. Yeah. So what are some of your other favourite authors that write Regency as well?
Well, some of them, not straight Regency. I know I love Julia Quinn, and of course Eloisa James, but she can be more Georgian. But there are so many. Lisa Kleypas, I think it's Kleypas. I can never get her name right, but she also writes contemporary. So she's sort of I like that she does both. There's Stephanie Lawrence, of course. There's just so many historical writers out there that are amazing. I'm actually going to look up at my bookshelf, because there's a million people up there, but I can't quite see the titles from here. But yeah, I think as a writer, I that was something I stopped doing, was reading, because I was just write. And then I realised I was really missing it. Yeah. And I realised that it's really vital for my creativity and to getting everything moving to read as well, not just spend time doing your own stuff. So now I make myself read.
That's it. Excellent. And of course you've got your contemporary series as well. So those ones are mostly based in the United States, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I never really had any inkling to write about in New Zealand. Isn't that terrible? I'm a New Zealander, but I never really had. I've always read American-based contemporary, and I just sort of thought, right, I'm going to go do that straight away. So I have an editor who can edit the Americanisms in, because quite often she'll come back to me and go, I've got no clue what that means. Absolutely no clue, because it's a Kiwi thing. So I think that's vitally important. I do have an American voice, which is good. I seem to be able to write American, and my readers from over there tell me that I do okay. So you have to be very careful. Something that I've realised is if I don't know something, then I'll either write away from it and around it, or I'll do the research and find it. But you can write most things and then come back and edit in the stuff that needs to be edited.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. And your sales in America, are they bigger than they are down Australia and New Zealand?
Yeah, by a long way. America's my biggest audience, and then it would be the UK.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And so this year you have a book which you turned into an audiobook.
I did. Yeah. I thought I'd have a go at that. So I went through Find a Way and audition, and they sent out some recordings of a few people doing a little bit of each. It was my first contemporary Promise at Home, so they did a few audition tapes, and I went through each, and I knew where I wanted the voice to go, because when you write something you have a vision of what characters like, and I knew what I wanted from any audio, anyone who was going to do the reading. So I picked a lovely lady, and she's done a fantastic job. It was really weird, though, when she said, "Oh, get on there and have a listen," and I was, wow, I don't know if I want to hear my book read back to me. It's a very, very unusual feeling. We just sit there and listen to the whole thing. But yeah, no, it's great. It's going well, but I think it's like publishing for the first time in anything, whether it's ebook, print, until you have something for them to go on to. I've not really pushed it hard advertising wise or marketing wise, because I would like to get another couple before I start that, and then they can roll on to that, because unfortunately that's just the way of things. It seems to be better if you've got something for them to go on to.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. And so Kindle Unlimited is your preferred platform. Tell us about your decision to do that.
Well, I put my contemporaries wide, and I have always had them wide since 2015 when I published my first one, and they did really, really well. Don't get me wrong there, but Kindle Unlimited has always been my half of my income. With my historicals, page reads are massively important, and there's two schools of thoughts of giving Amazon that much control over your life, or going wide. But for me, it's just worked really well. So I put everything in this year, and I really haven't looked back. I've had some of my better months the last few months, and the page reads do really well, and the sales don't seem to be being affected at all. So yeah, it's going well. And if I sort of equated the two, from going wide to going into unlimited money wise, then I would be saying I'd be coming out on top. Okay. So yeah, it was quite well. I haven't had too much pushback from readers yet. And if anyone emails me and says, I can't get you a new book, and I'll send them a copy. I'm not, I don't want people to miss out.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. So you do the Spa Girls podcast. I've had Cheryl Phibbs on the show, which is fantastic.
She's wonderful.
So how long has that been going for now? You've wrapped up quite a few episodes.
Oh, yeah, I think we're probably well into the hundreds. I don't have that information. They're going to kill me for that. But the thing about the four of us is we've been friends for many years. So we started off as a critique group. All of us were unpublished. But I think you really, this is about community, because it's such a solitary occupation. You spend all the time on your own in your own head, and being able to have friends that do the same thing is vital. We all work from home now, and there are special. We all have our own strengths, and so we've been able to carry that. Without them, I probably wouldn't have self-published. I might have got around to it eventually, but they're pretty special. And so that was a natural progression for us to come into the Spa Girls. And we had a lot of people approach us about, how do you do this? And how, and we were talking about this, and we said, why don't we just start something to help people out? Yeah. So we started that, and it's sort of, despite ourselves, gone crazy, and we get a lot of wonderful people, and we've got a lot of wonderful listeners, and it's until you start, pooling your knowledge, you don't realise how much you know. But as soon as we started, I thought, no, this is a good thing, because there aren't that. I mean, there are podcasts out there, but there aren't that many that are just for real outside beginners. People that are just starting their journey, and that's what we really like to target. So we wrote our first book, and we get together and we have a lot of laughs, and we enjoy each other's company too, which is vitally important.
And you've got to interview some great people. I know you've talked to Mark Dawson.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yes. It was amazing. Well, it was quite funny. Cheryl and I went to Florida last year for RWA, and we were both sick, really sick. Like, we got sick from the minute we got there, and her alarm went off, and she said, "Oh my gosh, we've got to interview Mark in 20 minutes. Get up. And we just went running through the hotel. And there he was. What a wonderful man. And I coughed most of the way through it. But fantastic, humble guy who's got an amazing knowledge and very happy to share that knowledge. And he sat and talked to us for ages. And afterwards, after the podcast had finished, he talked to us for a bit longer. And that, I think, is the thing about this community. Most people within it are really willing to share their knowledge. And so, Roxanne St. Clair was the same. She was amazing. And we just met, so many people that have been really supportive of us. And I think once you get over that fear of asking someone, if you think about it, everyone loves to talk about themselves and share that information, don't they? So, why not do it? Yeah.
It's funny. I've recently been asking a lot of different people and really bulking up my schedule on podcasts. Yeah. And no one says no.
No, they don't. That's really just it. You've got to get over that fear yourself of asking.
Yeah.
But as soon as you do, we've got some great guests coming up. So no, it's good. I really enjoy it, and I think people have enjoyed listening to it as well.
It is, and I've heard Mark Dawson on his own podcast and other people's podcasts, and it's there's always something different. I'm sure I learned something different about him and his experience listening to him on your podcast than I did and anything else I've ever listened to. So.
He's a great guy, and as I say, they're willing to give, and that's the good thing about this community, I think.
It is it's fantastic, and it's amazing too. Like, we write romance and Mark Dawson writes thrillers, but you'll still learn things.
Absolutely.
Because, the publishing industry is the way it is, and it's
evolving, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's incredible. And what works for people in thrillers can still work for people in romance, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. So you're a member of the Romance Writers of New Zealand.
Yes.
So you've been with them for a few years?
Many years. And so I when I was unpublished, I just used to go along and just feed off of the, the wonderful people there, again, giving of their time. But I think it's evolved so quickly, this self-publishing industry. I think the pendulum swung quite a lot towards, self-publishing. But RWNZ's been great. They understand that, and they're all of their authors. So they cater pretty much to everyone, and as is evidenced by Bella Andre coming to conference this year, one of the big guns of self-publishing. Yeah. So I love RWNZ. They've been really good for me, and they're a great source of knowledge.
Brilliant. And so conference is coming up in August this year in Auckland, which of course I'll be going to. I'm very excited, and I just got confirmation I will get to talk to Bella Andre for the podcast. So,
oh, wow. Awesome.
You guys probably going to try and hit her up as well.
We will, I think, definitely. Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So are there any other conferences that you're planning on going to or you've been to recently?
I haven't actually. Smarter Artists I would like to go to, and maybe I always get it wrong, 20 books to 50k. I really want to go to that as well. So the Spy Girls, we've actually discussed going next year. So whether we get round to doing it or not, I don't know. But we've got a few things planned for ourselves, that we want to sort of implement as the Spy Girls as well. So moving forward, we definitely want to go somewhere. We're just not sure where we'll end up yet. But Trudy went this year to Smarter Artists and enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, so I know the 20 books to 50k have sold out. Their Vegas conference sold out within something like 24 hours.
Very quickly. Very, very quickly. Yeah.
Crazy.
No, I would like to go to that. I mean, I enjoyed RWA. I'm not sure as a self-published writer I got as much out of it as I would have thought that could have been also because I was unwell.
Yeah,
but
so
I did meet Mark.
so that was
what
Romance Writers of America. That was in Florida in 2017.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, what a shame you were sick for that, though.
Yeah, no, the cruise after helped.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Cool. And you've got a great list of tools and resources and books on your website for any wannabe writers. It's great you've done that.
It's worth having a good look. Yeah, it really is. I've got a wonderful assistant, and she's fantastic, and she does Shah, and she does all of those sort of things for me. We had massive discussions, and she's a really smart cookie, so she's the one who helps me with all of that and getting things working. But we're all about trying to help other writers too, starting out, and that's, I think, we didn't have that so much when we were starting out because it was a few years ago, but now I think it's really evolved, and I think it's important to help people get on that journey the right way.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of bad knowledge out there. There's a lot of people who will ask you for a lot of money and then not actually do a lot for you. So it's good to use the resources and talk to people who you know and who you trust.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, if anyone listening is still an aspiring, it's important just to get that craft down and get your voice and all.
Absolutely. People don't want to hear that actually a lot. They want to finish their book and they want to publish it and they want to, wow, I'm going to be number one. And I completely get that. But if you're in this journey for the long game, then, you really need to understand you have to get the product up there and you have to keep writing and you have to get, and unless you're an outlier that's going to come out like, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey and go bang. Doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And more often than not, if you actually talk to someone who it does happen to, they've been writing for a long time, honing their craft. I think tempering expectations is vital when you come into this game. I think if you come into this game thinking you're going to make a massive living and it's going to start for you straight away, again, you're not coming in for the right reasons. And same as if you think you're going to write a book just because you've decided you think it's you, even though you haven't written romance or whatever, that again, it's not going to work. You need to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
You really do.
That's it. There's a lot of people out there who, want to write a book, and absolutely you should write a book.
Absolutely.
Yep. But you do. It is a process. I mean, it took me 2 years to just get the craft sorted out when I wrote my first book, and I know a lot of people it's taken many more years than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think also coming to the understanding why you're writing. If you want to write your book and it's the book of your heart, but it's not going to fit into any genre because it's, I don't know, poetry about whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to say it's not a wonderful thing and someone's going to love it, but it's probably not going to sell as well as if you're writing a book that is in the marketplace that fits somewhere and millions of women want to read it everywhere, or men. I think you've got to be aware of your reasons for writing, and temper your expectations accordingly. I really think that's quite vital because it can be quite a tough business to be in. Rewarding, and I love every minute of it, but it is quite a hard business.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Excellent. So what are you working on at the moment, Wendy?
Well, I just released the fourth book in my Sinclair Raven series last month, 30th of last month, which is going well. And now I have just finished the second book in my second contemporary series, which I don't have a title for, the Rocker Falls series, and that's set in Colorado. So I've just finished that very rough first draft on that one. And then after that, I will be writing the final book in the Langley Sisters series, which I get a lot of emails, people telling me that they've been waiting a long time for it, and that it's time that I wrote it and complete the series. They let me know quite a lot. But yeah, so that's I have a plan, and I need to set up my edits and that because I can fall off track very easily. So I need to be very strict on myself. Yeah. Because I can be very lazy, should I be required to be so.
It's easy to get distracted.
Yeah, very.
Well,
absolutely.
That's awesome. Where can we find you online?
Well, you can go to www.wendyvella.com, or Facebook, author Wendy Vella. You can find me there, and I've got an email newsletter you can sign up on Facebook or on my website, which I send out once, sometimes twice a month, mainly once. But those are my main 2 platforms that I spend time on.
Excellent. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for that, Wendy.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It was very enjoyable.
I'll see you in RWNZ.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Jump onto my website, sarahwilliamsauthor.com, and join my mailing list to receive a free preview of my books and lots of inspiration. If you like the show and want it to continue, you can become a sponsor for just a couple of dollars a month. Go to patreon.com/sarahwilliamsauthor to find out more. And remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a review of the podcast. I'll be back next week with another loved up episode. Bye.